Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am your Destiny Dad and happy Friday. Let's see what our friend Zer has brought for us this week. For the catalysts we have Mida multi-tool. Oh, I didn't know that they gave that no distractions. Interesting. I'm going to be a little biased in this one. If you use Mida multi-tool in the lovely year of 2025, you are a cringe individual and you should use a better scout rifle. I'm sorry, someone has to say. Fourth Horseman Catalyst is a phenomenal catalyst, as is the Fourth Horseman, a phenomenal weapon. It's another one of those Wardcliff Coil-ish situations where certain places in the game, this thing is just stupidly nutty. But 99% of the game, it's not really that big of an impact. But if you're someone who does raids, if you're someone who does dungeons, if you're someone who plays endgame content or wants to, this is a very good catalyst to have in your arsenal for when you do come into those situations where Fourth Horseman is the suggested route. For hunters, we have a base stat 68 Foes Tracer, 18 resilience, 12 recov, and 26 strength. If you're going for a melee build with Foe Tracer, that would be really solid. It's real low on the mobility, but typically you can bump up hunter mobility pretty easily. So if you really need that strength spike, there's a Foe Tracer for you. Up next, Antaeus Wards. Not much play since the big nerf or two that they got, but still okay to use, I believe. I don't think they're anything crazy, but if you want them or if you don't have them, here's a decent, maybe roll. No, it's base 67, high discipline, okay resilience and recov. I probably don't see many people going for a grenade build with Antaeus Wards in PvP. I think there's a lot of other exotics that you would want a grenade build for PvP with. But that being said, if you want a pair of Antaeus Wards, there's a base 67 step, which is not bad. Lastly, we have base 68 transversive steps with 29 resilience, 12 discipline, and 15 intellect. That is actually pretty decent. I would have liked a little more recov personally, but as important as resilience is, it's nice to have a near 30 spike. After masterwork, that'll be 31, which is a good chunk of the way to 100 resilience. And transversive steps are phenomenal in PvP. This week we do have exotic class items. Obviously, I'm on my hunter currently, so there is the cloak, but on each class that you sign in on, you will be able to get your class's specific class item. More strange offers. This week we have Vanguard, engrams, and the usual materials for the week. And strange gear, we have a Hawkmoon with moving target, arrowhead, alloy mag, stability, and less handling. This is probably one that I would personally pass on. I don't think that arrowhead is really needed on this. Although the handling is not bad, I think that there's some other barrels that you might want. Moving target is not bad, and I think that there's other better grips than heavy grip. That being said, I don't think it's a garbage roll of Hawkmoon either. So if you want a Hawkmoon, you don't have a good one, this one will definitely put in some work for you. I do believe that there are better options available though. Up next we have Cerberus +1. This is always such a funky gun to me. I want to like it. I don't usually like it all that much. I've tried to play with it many times and just, I don't know, there's something about it that just doesn't jive with me. That being said, a lot of people really love it, and there are ways to make it kind of broken, and there are a lot of times when it does break the game. So go for it if you don't have it or if you want to try it out. Wave Splitter. Okay, trace rifle, one of the less strong exotic ones, I believe. I think there's a couple void trace rifles in the game right now that are a little bit stronger than this that are legendary, but this is decent as well. I like this one just because it's fun, but I think there are other better options. I love void trace rifles. I love void anything. I just think it's a good looking trace rifle. I think it's fun to use, and if you don't have it, I personally believe that you should just collect every exotic just for the sake of having it. Up next is Thunderlord, phenomenal gun, got updated to interact with bolt charge, fantastic, 10 out of 10. As much as people want to meme on it and call it a dad gun and say how bad you are if you use it, genuinely this thing cooks most raid bosses. If you got 6 people using it or 5 of these in one div and a couple decent builds, you can honestly carry yourself through most raid and dungeon DPS phases. People don't like to admit that. There's other optimal ways to do DPS and damage that are better than this, but if you want to just sit there on a couple titans and left click, it's free damage. Plus it does overload champions, right? Yeah, intrinsically is good against overloads, although that's not much help this season because all LMGs are overloads. Yeah, definitely a good pick. For our legendary weapons, we have autoloading, holster, and unrelenting on a friction fire. I always liked this season of weapons. This was a season of the hunt, I believe. They all felt really interesting. They all sounded really cool. They all looked really cool. Most of them didn't have any sort of crazy perks. I think this thing could have gotten subsistence and rampage if I remember correctly. Let's see if Dim will load for me. Yeah, subsistence rampage is looking to be one of the better roles on this gun. Autoloading is not terrible. A lot of people sleep on it on primaries in my opinion, but if you're making a run and gun build where you're swapping between weapons rapidly, autoloading on your primary or on anything realistically is not bad. That being said, I think that you could get some better rolls on this gun personally. Up next we have the Blood Feud, a stasis SMG from the pirate season. I forget the name of it, but was it Splicer? Yeah, it was season of the Splicer. That's so weird. Pugilist and well-rounded. Interesting role. It can get ambitious assassin, it can get triple tap, it can get grave robber, ensemble, you get a headstone swashbuckler, focus fury, elemental capacitor. Yeah, this thing can get a lot of better rolls than what it has currently. If it works for a build that you're rocking, then it works for a build. As I always say, you know, it's your account. If something that normally is not good, quote unquote, works for what you are wanting it to do, then go for it. That being said, this is a craftable weapon. So if you don't have it and you have your residence to craft weapons from, pick it up, craft it, stick it in your vault, stick it in your collections, have it there and ready to go, just in case you ever need it. Up next, Death Adder. This is a very fun gun to use, but it has so many good, like very few good rolls, but a lot of perks on it. Hipfire Disruption. Now, for PvP this season with Radiant Dance Machines, Hipfire, decent range, decent stability. That's actually a solid roll right there. Disruption Break. Maybe if you paired this with RDMs and a sniper, I could see like breaking shields with this and then one-shot bodying with a kinetic sniper, maybe an Eye of Soul or something like that. Other than that, Disruption Break's not going to really do much for you in PvP in my opinion, and I think that there are better rolls on this. It can get Dynamic Sway, get Eye of the Storm, Rangefinder, Moving Target, Quick Draw, a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you like that quirky Radiant Dance Machines playstyle, you like shooting from the hip, and you want to do something goofy with Disruption Break, go for it. Otherwise, I think it's a pass. Next is the Stochastic Variable, an ARC SMG. I don't believe this was ever from like a specific... Originally it was from the factions, back when we had faction rallies. After that, it just sort of immediately became a world drop and has come and gone multiple times, and has just kind of stayed in the world loot pool. I think overall this is actually a decent SMG. I think it's pretty slept on. I think the fact that it can get magazines and that you can like change its rate of fire based on the magazine options, and it has like batteries, like fusion rifle batteries on it. I think that's really, really cool. That being said, yeah, I think it just has other better options than this. I thought, is that really what this can roll with? Yeah, I guess. Left column can get Under Pressure, Zen Moment. Killing Wind is not bad, realistically. Ambitious Assassin, Feeding Frenzy. Right column, Unrelenting, Dragonfly, Multi-Kill Clip, Elemental, and Quick Draw. I always liked pairing this with, like, in PvP, running around with a Wither Ward using, like, Zen Moment, Quick Draw on this thing with, like, a super rangy roll. That was always fun because you could throw out your Wither Horde and then hot swap to this as soon as somebody started, you know, walking through your goo on the ground and just beam them. But probably will leave that up to each. Next we have the 7th Seraph Saw. As per usual, love this LMG. It's kind of been power crept. There's very few perks you really want on it. Mulligan is a perk that is slept on. That being said, if you could pair it with, like, if you could do like Mulligan target lock or something like that, or Mulligan 4th times, or any sort of, like, pairing this with a damage perk or a ammo refund perk, that makes Mulligan really strong. But having that in place of the 1 or 2 damage perks that you could have makes this not quite as viable, in my opinion. Again, to each their own. Overall, the role in terms of stats and everything: Alloy Mag, Field Prep, Light Mag, Arrowhead, even the Handling Masterwork, like, all of that's really solid. So if you're running, like, just a basic arc LMG to stun champs and occasionally get some ammo refunded for free just because you're human and you miss shots, that's fine. It just can have damage perks on it, and this does not have any on it currently. Up next, we have Corsair's Wrath, a solar linear fusion rifle from Season of the Hunt. Pulse monitor and kill clip. Oof, that is a rough roll on a linear. Even back then, this thing never really had much crazy going for it. The best damage perk that you could get on this thing is High Impact Reserves. Technically, you can get kill clip, obviously, but in terms of going into a damage phase or into some sort of, you know, rotation or anything like that, kill clip is not really going to do much for you. You can get demo in the right side, you can get high impact reserves in the right side, you can get thresh, you can get unrelenting. In terms of left column, firmly planted, killing wind, pulse monitor, obviously, moving target, no distractions, and outlaw. For a long time, before we had any better linear solar fusions that were legendary, I had a role that was outlaw and high impact, I believe, and it did decently. Now with the state of linears, having bait and switch, having oh god, what's the other one that some have? Precision instrument, envious assassin, envious arsenal, ambitious assassin, you know, all that kind of stuff. You're probably not going to use a solar linear with high impact reserves for your boss melting gun. That being said, it does have some decent rolls for PvP in terms of the quick draw and snapshot and outlaw and things like that. If you like linears in PvP, you might pick this one up. And for the class specific swords, this week we have Quick Fang with Relentless Strike's flash counter. Okay. We do not have Jagged Edge, which kind of sucks a little bit. We have Tempered Edge, which is decent, but it's not perfect. But with the current Titan Stronghold meta and flash counter, that might be a sword that you do want to pick up. For our Warlock's sword this week, we have the Eternity's Edge. It has Thresh and Assassin's Blade. No Jagged Edge. And it looks like probably a role that I would personally skip. And for our Titan's sword this week, we of course have Crown Splitter. And this week the role is... For Crown Splitter this week, we do have Jagged Edge, but we have Tireless and Whirlwind. An interesting combo. Might be the combo for you, probably not for me personally. But that being said, let's move on to our armor. For Hunters this week, and all 3 classes it should be, I believe, we have the Righteous Armor set from season, was that Dawn, I believe? Gosh, it's been so long. Season of the Lost, that's what it was from. For your hunters, you have a pair of arms at a base 65 with 20 intellect, 65 base chest with 17 discipline, a 64 base helmet with 23 recov and 24 intellect. That is actually a decent helmet. If you're going for a super build and you want high health uptime, maybe you're going super spam with devour or something like that, that might actually be good for you. And last but not least, we have 63 base legs, 14 mobility, 15 resilience, and 16 discipline. Okay spikes for general stat bumps across the board, but nothing too crazy for our hunter's armor this week. For the warlocks this week, you have a pair of base 63 gloves, but with 11 resilience, 18 recov, and 24 intellect. Honestly, I might pick that up for myself if I don't already have that stat alignment. Those are some nice spikes. For your boots, you got 63 base, 11 resilience, 18 recov, and 14 intellect. Again, really nice alignment. Your helmet is 61 base with 14 mobility and 18 intellect. Not great on the mobility side. Then your legs are base 62, 10 mobility, 14 recov, 12 discipline, and 18 strength. The arms and the chest piece are super good for your warlock this week. I highly recommend. If you don't have something better, please get those. Those are phenomenal spikes to have. For our Titan this week, we have 68 arms. Oof. 16 mobility, which is a little bit of a bummer, but we have 16 recov, 20 discipline, and 12 intellect. Nice spikes beyond the mobility. For our chest piece, it's a base 62, 10 mobility, 15 recov, 11 intellect, and 18 strength. For our helmet, we have 66 base, 24 recov, 22 intellect. Ooh, really nice Titan helmet. And then for our legs, ooh boy, 62 base, 24 resilience, 10 discipline, intellect, and strength. Jesus, the armor this week is kind of stacked for Titans and Warlocks. That is some spicy gear there. Definitely recommend picking those up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that has been your weekly Xur review with your Destiny Dad. Thank you all for coming and watching. Congratulations to the Titans on winning the Guardian games. I still a touch salty that Hunters lost again, but congrats either way. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Enjoy your trials if you are so inclined. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all the next time I see you. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to keep coming back for more weekly reviews on Xur, Banshee, Ada, and other updates. All that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next time.